everybody, I'm Jeff Schneider, and today's video is actually a part 2 to a video I did on sequencing and melodic improvisation, and you can check out that video. I'll link that down below. So today we're talking about using the same technique of sequencing and improvisation, but doing it over some more chord changes. The previous video talked about sequencing over like a modal tune where you're hanging on one chord for a while. This time around, I want to talk about going from chord to chord to chord, and specifically chords that may not really relate to each other all that well. And we'll find how to navigate through those kinds of changes. So I want to start with a backing track that I made today using just a couple of chords. It's a vamp that's going from, this is in concert key, it's going from G major 7 to B flat major 7. So this is what the track sounds like. Anyway, so the chords there again are G major 7 going to B flat major 7. So if you remember from the last video, what I did was take a set of intervals and make a pattern of it by sequencing those intervals up a scale. So the very basic one would be going up in thirds on like a concert B flat major scale. So what I'm going to do now is play over this backing track. And I'm not going to worry about creating any crazy patterns using lots of intervals and different sets. I'm just going to play what's going to sound a lot like a scale. But as I'm going up this scale, when the chord changes, I'm going to have to adjust accordingly. So if I'm playing up a G major scale and I get to B, and then the chord changes to B flat major 7, I can't play that B anymore. Instead, I'll play a B flat. So let's hear what that sounds like. Alrighty, so as you can hear, and if you play that scale along with me to the backing track, you'll notice that when the chord changes, I have to adjust so that my notes fit the chord. It's almost like you're making up a new scale that fits both chords. Now, the next step is, instead of just playing up in a scale, let's go back to interval sets. So let's use the very basic one of going up in thirds. So one question you might have is, how do I know what scale to play over each chord? Well, in this example, for the G major 7 chord, I'm playing a G Lydian scale, and that's just like a G major scale, except the fourth note of that scale, which is C, I'm making that a C sharp, so I'm raising the fourth. And then the same goes for the scale for the B flat major 7. Instead of just a regular B flat major scale, I'm raising the fourth from an E flat to an E natural. And as I said in the last video, the pattern that you use, the interval sets that you use, they don't have to just be thirds. You can use fifths or sixths, or a second followed by a fifth, all different combinations. And then again, you're just adjusting the notes to fit the chord. So I'll do one more example. Let's do sixths. So the next step is, once you're able to sequence the interval up with a very basic rhythm, like I just did, which was in quarter notes, from there you can get a little more creative with the rhythm, and that's going to instantly make whatever you're playing sound more interesting. So here's an improvisation. Again, I'll use the interval of a sixth, only this time I'll add in some syncopation. improvising with sequences using intervallic sets over multiple chords. Now it takes a lot of concentration and focus, but again, if you're practicing slowly and you're focusing on one thing at a time, meaning don't worry about syncopation when you're worrying about notes. And if you want to work on syncopation, make sure you have those notes down solid so that you don't have to be thinking about them while trying to make interesting rhythms. And if you want to use this technique on a bebop tune or an American songbook standard, like All the Things You Are, something like that, one thing that will help is to try to find a scale that works through multiple chord changes. Meaning, let's say you have a 2-5-1 in the key of C major. So that's D minor 7, G7, C major 7. You can use the C major scale throughout that entire chord change. Now if you want to make that G7 a G7 flat 9, yeah, you're going to have to adjust accordingly. But if you're just looking to get through some chord changes that are all in the same key, like a 2-5-1, just use one scale. Alright, that'll be it for today. As always, if you have any questions, you can leave them down below in the comments section. And if you'd like to work with me directly, I do offer Skype lessons. Just shoot me an email at jeffschneidermusic@gmail.com to set that up. And if you haven't already subscribed, please do so that you can see new videos when I put them out. Thanks again for watching. Good luck. One more thing. If you like the backing track that I used in this video and you want to listen to it again or practice with it, I've made it available on my website as a 99-cent download, and I'll link that up in the description below. And that's it. Enjoy.